fired and walking home until two helicopters landed shouting, "Where's the nurse?" Sarah Martinez had just experienced the worst day of her life. After 12 years of dedicating her heart and soul to the county hospital, she'd been let go due to budget cuts. The words still echoed in her mind as she walked along the dusty shoulder of Highway 87, clutching a cardboard box filled with her belongings. Her car had broken down that morning, and now, with an empty bank account and no job, calling a tow truck wasn't an option. So she walked, tears streaming down her face, wondering how she'd tell her two kids that everything was falling apart. But what Sarah didn't know was that her worst day was about to become the most extraordinary day of her life. Because sometimes, when you least expect it, the universe has a way of showing you that every act of kindness you've ever given comes back to find you. Before we continue with Sarah's incredible story, I want to invite you to join our Heartfelt Moments family. If stories about real human kindness and unexpected miracles touch your heart, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment. Drop a comment below telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your life. And if this story moves you, give it a like and share it with someone who needs to believe in goodness today. Now let's get back to Sarah's journey. Sarah had been walking for about 20 minutes when she heard it. A low rumble that grew louder and louder until the air itself seemed to vibrate. She looked up, squinting against the afternoon sun, and saw two helicopters descending rapidly toward the highway ahead of her. Her heart pounded as they landed in a clear field just off the road, kicking up massive clouds of dust and dried grass. Car doors slammed. People started running, and then she heard the shouts. "Where's the nurse?" "We need a nurse." Sarah froze. Her hands tightened around her cardboard box. She was a nurse, but she'd just been fired. She had no job, no authority, no reason to get involved. She should just keep walking, keep heading home to figure out her shattered life. But 12 years of training and an even longer lifetime of caring for others don't just switch off. Sarah dropped her box and ran toward the commotion. What she found made her blood run cold. A medical evacuation helicopter had been transporting a critical patient from a rural hospital to a trauma center in Phoenix when they'd received a distress call from a second helicopter. That second chopper had been carrying a family, a father, mother, and their 7-year-old son. When the child had gone into sudden cardiac arrest mid-flight, they'd made an emergency landing, but their onboard medic had suffered a panic attack under the pressure and couldn't function. They were desperately trying to revive the little boy, but nothing was working. Sarah didn't hesitate. "I'm a nurse," she called out, pushing through the small crowd of paramedics and flight crew. "Let me help." For the next 17 minutes, Sarah worked on that child with every ounce of skill and determination she possessed. She could see the boy's parents watching, clutching each other, their faces frozen in terror. The father's lips were moving in silent prayer. The mother couldn't even cry anymore. She just stood there, trembling, waiting to see if her son would live or die. Sarah performed chest compressions with perfect rhythm. She adjusted the airway. She worked with the flight medic who had regained composure, coordinating every medication, every procedure. The desert sun beat down on them. Sweat poured down her face. Her arms ached, but she didn't stop. And then, like a miracle, the monitor beeped. A heartbeat. Weak at first, but growing stronger. The little boy's eyes fluttered open. The mother's scream of joy probably echoed across 3 counties. The father collapsed to his knees, sobbing. The flight crew erupted in cheers. And Sarah, exhausted and overwhelmed, stepped back and let them have their moment. But the mother wouldn't let her disappear. She grabbed Sarah's hands, tears streaming down her face. "You saved him," she whispered. "You saved my baby. How can we ever thank you?" Sarah shook her head, her own tears falling freely now. "You don't need to thank me. I'm just glad he's okay. That's all that matters." The father approached, still wiping tears from his eyes, and that's when Sarah recognized him. He was Michael Chen, a tech entrepreneur whose face had been all over the news for creating a revolutionary healthcare app. But right now, he wasn't a millionaire or a CEO. He was just a grateful father whose son had been given a second chance at life. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Sarah Martinez." "Sarah, what you did today, there aren't words for it." He paused, looking at his son being carefully loaded back into the helicopter. "Are you working right now? Do you have a job?" Sarah almost laughed at the timing. "Actually, I was just fired today." About an hour ago, Michael and his wife exchanged a look. Then he pulled out his phone. "I run a foundation that funds rural healthcare clinics across Arizona. We've been trying to launch a mobile emergency response unit, bringing advanced care to communities that need it most. We need someone to direct it, someone with not just skills but heart." He looked at her with absolute sincerity. "Someone exactly like you. Would you consider it?" Sarah stood there on that dusty highway, her old cardboard box lying forgotten in the dirt, and realized that her life hadn't fallen apart today. It had been breaking open to make room for something better. She'd spent 12 years showing up with kindness every single day, treating every patient like they mattered, staying late, caring deeply, even when no one was watching. And now, on the day everything seemed lost, all that kindness had circled back to find her in the most unexpected way. Because that's the thing about kindness. It's never wasted. Every compassionate word, every helping hand, every moment you choose to care when you could choose to walk away, it all matters. It all creates ripples that spread farther than you'll ever know. Sarah took that job. Today she runs one of the most successful mobile healthcare programs in the Southwest, bringing emergency care to people who would otherwise have no access. She keeps a photo of that little boy on her desk. He's 12 now, healthy and thriving, and his parents have become like family to her. And sometimes, when she's having a hard day, Sarah thinks about that walk along Highway 87, about how close she came to giving up, about 2 helicopters landing right when she needed purpose most. Your kindness matters, even when it costs you, even when no one sees, even when you're walking down a dusty road carrying everything you own in a cardboard box. Especially then. Keep showing up. Keep caring. Keep being kind. You never know when the whole universe might conspire to return it all to you.